light bulbs are everywhere. They've become the symbol of a modern, thrusting, 24-hour, 7-day-a-week society. It's a world which has harnessed the genius of Maxwell with the brilliance of Edison to give us more control over our environment than ever before. Or has it? For many, it's encouraged a world in which most people may in reality have less control than before.
Why is it exactly that we live in a 24/7 society? Is it because we really want to? Or is it rather because it's the dictates of the machines that they become profitable if they're switched on all the time? So it looks as though these technologies of artificial light give us an unprecedented control over the world around us. But maybe, just maybe, we're the victims. We're under the control of machines and the market.
Yet for scientists, the real impact of the light bulb has had nothing to do with control. In fact, it's been the very opposite. The light bulb was going to blow apart the laws of physics and reveal a world that's more uncertain, more unpredictable, and more dangerous than its inventors dreamt of. In the mid-1890s, in the town of Würzburg, a German scientist had embarked on a series of new experiments with light. His name was Wilhelm Röntgen, and what interested Röntgen was a new piece of equipment.
It was a vacuum tube, a long glass tube from which almost all the air had been pumped out. You couldn't make one of these without the technology which was being used to make light bulbs. And the most extraordinary thing about this was that if you passed an electric current through the vacuum tube, it started to glow brightly.
The tube was empty, yet something was glowing. It became known as a cathode ray. Röntgen was intrigued, but as he played around with it, he came across something even more extraordinary. When he increased the charge and took a photograph of a hand, he could suddenly see the bones through the skin. It was an awe-inspiring moment. They became known as X-rays. These mysterious rays of light seemed to confirm for many people that there was something beyond the natural world, a supernatural world. Cathode rays, X-rays, all sorts of weird and strange radiations went along with an explosion in interest in spiritualism. In the decades to come, as scientists pieced together what was really going on, it became clear that X-rays have nothing to do with the supernatural. They're merely another part of the electromagnetic spectrum. At the top of the spectrum, vibrating quite fast, is blue and violet light, and beyond it, the light we can't see, ultraviolet, and now a form of radiation emerges that is very high frequency indeed, vibrating extremely fast, X radiation. But the visible glow in the vacuum tube would lead scientists somewhere very different. It wouldn't help them communicate with the dead, but in its own way, it would be just as revolutionary. One of the centers of research into the strange characteristics of vacuum tubes was Cambridge. Here, Maxwell's research lab was now run by a physicist called J.J. Thomson. It's one of Thomson's misfortunes to have gone down in history for an incident that's almost absurd in its triviality. In the 1920s, he's reputed to have shouted at a couple of undergraduates training for the 1924 Olympics in the Great Court at Trinity College. One of them went on to win gold. But Thomson, like Maxwell, was a brilliant scientist, and in the closing decades of the 19th century, he designed his own cathode ray tube to investigate this very peculiar form of light.